I only show, it's been a minute since I did another video, but I only share the photos as a reminder of why I can never go back. The narcissist is overing. They are trying to spin the block, so to speak. And I let this individual know, like, it's a no. It's like, you know what I mean? God willing. Like I always say, God willing. I never say never, because I realize most of the time when people do that, they do the never. So I just say, with God's strength, I won't say never. With God's strength, I don't ever want to be in that relationship again. It's a no for me. But I try not to, like I said, to say never, because I realize the enemy is very cunning. So what I say is, it's a no for me. It just shows you the levels they will go to future fate. These are old photos. This is a trip. One photo is a trip that I won. The only trip I ever won before. I won to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And I won the trip, during the time that we were engaged. So I planned it after our engagement for the next Valentine's Day, which is why I couldn't cancel the trip even after the engagement was over. I had planned on going on that trip by myself. And he just kept begging to go to the trip. And I'm like, no, we called things off. Yeah, we were still dealing with each other, but we called things off. And I was just like, it doesn't make any sense. My only fear was I've never driven in the mountains, and Gatlinburg, the place where we stay, in Tennessee, is in the mountains. So, I was excited. It was a trip that I had won. I had never won a trip. I don't take a lot of vacations. I hadn't in a long time, because me being a single mom, at times my finances has been rocky. I had a lot of hardships. And so I was just happy to feeling like finally in my life, like, some breakthroughs, some God looking out for me, him just, showing me goodness in the land of the living, just really appreciative, really excited to go. And against my better judgment, I allowed this individual to go on the trip with me. Ruined the whole trip. We're driving up. We took a car because I was just like, that's easier. And plus, it's more affordable. Just rented a car instead of just flying, in anyways. And we needed, to be able to get around. So we drive up. He's driving crazy. He's doing good at first. He's okay, but I felt that itch coming on, so that, like, I know he's gonna start something. He's gonna try to do something. So I try to be as calm as possible. He brought me all this stuff for Valentine's Day, balloons, jewelry, only to get, the closer we got to Gatlinburg, to start showing that crazy behavior. And it just lets me know, like, maybe some of them don't know, but a lot of them, man, they know exactly. They're very calculated. They know exactly what they're doing. We get there, we buy all this food so we can just make tacos and stay in the first night. And then the next day we were going to go, like, they have a roller coaster in the mountains. They have an aquarium. They have like a sky ride. Like, I just wanted to be a big kid, and it was Valentine's Day, and just go have fun. I was trying to take a shower. My nerves were pretty bad. I let the water overrun I just think I already was on edge, in this, because I knew like he was waiting on something to start. So I stayed in the tub forever just because, to try to avoid him starting an argument. Of course, he makes up an argument over nothing. Saying I did something, I wasn't paying him any attention. I was on my phone when really I was just trying to avoid an argument, and I was kind of quiet. Cussed me out the whole night. I mean, literally saying he was going to take the car and leave me stranded there. I believed him, because I know the things that he's capable of. And he just literally wanted to ruin, like literally just, his whole plan was just to ruin it, to go on a trip. He didn't even have to go, to just ruin a trip. He's calling me all out of my name. I mean, just saying all kind of stuff until 5 o'clock that morning. We had been on the road all day. I was exhausted. So I ended up spending Valentine's Day in the hotel room, by myself. Ended up giving him the gifts back. He bought a necklace, got rid of the necklace, because it's like, I think it's a scripture, because I read all 31 chapters of Proverbs yesterday, and I said I was going to read it again today. But it says, like, you can't eat with an angry man, or you can't, if you rescue an angry man, if you deal with an angry person, you're going to have to rescue them all the time. And that's how it is. It's like you walk on eggshells. They always are getting into something or doing something. And it says, like, if you go to a miser's house, he might give you his delicacies, but in his heart, he's stingy. He has hate for you. You're going to vomit up everything you get from a person like that. And it's the same with a narcissistic person. Anything that you think is going to be pleasant, in the end, you're going to vomit it up. You're going to vomit up any good food that you get from them, or anything that you think is going to be a good experience, is because they're going to do things to destroy that experience for you, so that you have bad memories of holidays, that you have bad memories of trips, that you have bad memories of the engagement. They're trying to spoil you, so to sense, and making everything a sad memory or a spoiled experience, or a so that you always have the mark of that bad experience. That you always will remember that, and I even let him know. I said, I didn't forget anything you did. Like, I want us to be cordial for our daughter, even though I know that's a thin line too. And, that's the difficult part, at least in my situation now, because for the most part, I'm over it. I'm over the heartbreak part. I think I have residue of pain in my heart just because I really was just trying to be good to this person, really, honestly. And I think, when I think about a lot of my childhood traumas and how my pain was ignored, I was told things like, you're imagining it, it's all in your head. And I think even as an adult, it caused me to be very, very angry in a certain way, because I still see the same behavior from people. And I think a lot of times people are thinking that you're trying to make them responsible for your healing, but it's not that. But when somebody's bleeding out all over you, if you can assist in stopping the bleeding, at least until that person can get the real help that they need, then do that. But if that's too much for you to do, leave that individual alone, because in my understanding of it is a lot of time people will, I hate to say this, but it's the truth, they will sit there and watch you bleed out till you die. They won't call the police. They won't try to get you any assistance. They'll literally tell you, like, that's your responsibility. And I think it's funny to me because it is in a certain sense, but I was just listening to this girl's story about her and her friend getting shot. And her friend, the guy friend that she had didn't make it. She was in Belize. She's from Belize. She went there to go visit her family. And, this lady set up her ex-boyfriend that happened to be a good friend of hers, a family friend, to be killed. And she just happened to be in the car. So she was shot too. And they said for the longest time, she was shot in the head. They were trying to tell a girl, the police, because this family is notorious. The guy who shot her and her friend, they're notorious for doing crazy stuff and getting away with it. And she said the police literally was letting her lay there, pretending like they didn't see the bullet wound go in the back of her head. They couldn't find it. They couldn't feel it. She had to go miles to another city. Like she's in two cop car. She was in a cop car and then two ambulances just to get to somewhere to get help. And I knew that was God that kept her alive during the whole situation, because she should have been out of here. She should have been dead. She was shot point blank range in the back of her head, and the bullet, the fragments are in her neck still. She doesn't even look like she's been shot at. The bullet came out through her cheek and shattered her jaw. And if you see, it's only been a couple months. It's a miraculous, healing, literally, especially when the police left her out there to die. And Wabella didn't want to pick her up, didn't want to help her. She had to beg and plead with the police to put her in the back of a police car to take her to a lady in the town who's a medic. And then she really couldn't do anything because it was a gunshot wound. And she's telling the young lady she don't see no wounds or nothing. And the girl is saying, I know I'm shot. I can't move. I could barely move. She was dragging herself to get, away from in the bushes, away from the gunman. And then it was just letting me know sometimes people will literally see you bleeding out and they won't do nothing about it. And I guess it just taught me a valuable lesson at the end of the day. That's why I just feel like it's just me and God at the end of the day. A lot of my pain has been ignored. People would do things and say things like, well, you ain't the only one. I almost want to say a cuss word, but it's like, of course not, Sherlock. Of course I'm not the only one. That's not the point. The point is, I'm really suffering right now, and I just need support. And I need support in a way I need support, not in a way you feel like you want to support me. People can be very, very selfish. But for me, and I'm not saying everybody, but just this is some of my experience with it. I can't help nobody right now. I'm trying to survive a very toxic situation, a very mentally, emotionally, spiritually damaging situation. And it doesn't help when people point out the obvious when you're suffering, and they'll say, well, what you going to do about it? Well, I don't know at this point. Healing takes many forms. Sometimes it takes years and different layers and different things to fall off for you to really get the healing that you need. It's not a cookie cutter all in one type deal most of the time. And what for me, I realized trauma after trauma, layer upon layer of pain. I feel like, even with, it's like I'm bleeding out on everyone because I never got healed. And now I dealt with an individual where basically the wound was just opened up completely all over again, and it was on top of that spiritual warfare, even from the things I did wrong. But not also that, just it if I really look at it, even before I got in a situation, it was kind of ongoing. It's been the last 7 years of my life have been extremely difficult. And even when I was just trying to, it got so bad, I just felt, and I feel like this now, like it got to the point where I just don't want to be around nobody. Like, I'm trying to avoid those type of people. I'm trying to keep myself out of harm's way. I'm trying to figure out what direction to go in my life. I'm trying to get back where I'm supposed to be in my relationship with God. I'm trying to take care of my kids. I'm trying to keep my head above water financially and keep my sanity at the same time. And that's been the hardest part, is the mental battle. And I've been praying and praying and praying and praying and praying till I don't know what to pray. I don't know what to say. And for a while, like I said, I couldn't even pray. That Python spirit, I was too weak to even really, all I could really get out to God is, please help me. I would listen to prayers every night, and even me having a child by this individual, I love my child. I be even scared to even have him around at all. Like I be, because I know stuff he like to do, and I feel like now he's just trying to be a monitoring spirit. He want to linger around, because one thing people need to understand about narcissists, they are very opportunistic. A snake or a predator is very opportunistic. They'll leave you alone for a while, but if they see a weak point, they're going to strike. If they see any kinks in your armor, they're going to strike. And for me, I can't afford that, because I felt I really was on the brink of losing my mind, and I'm still fighting every day, to keep myself strong, to, you really leaning on the Lord. And, like, honestly, I just told God, like, I just want to build my relationship with you. I can't, people say, oh, we need people. I mean, there are times in your life, yeah, you may need others, but I just felt like for the longest I've been, reaching out for help, and then I didn't get the help I need. I tried to go to ministers, and sometimes people feel like if you're not a part of their church, even though they know you, no longer a member, they don't feel like they need to pray for you or they need to help you because you don't participate at their church. You're not giving tithes and offering to that church, so they're not gonna give you no counsel. They're not gonna give you no help. People just don't know how it really is for a lot of people in this world. And I think maybe God let me experience some of that so I can see what it really is, how it really is. Because people say a lot of good stuff that's just not the truth for a lot of people. Maybe it is true in their experience, but for a lot of people, I know I can't be the only one. I can't, this ain't a woe is me. This is the real deal. This is how it's been. Like, trying to like go for prayer, going to get help, going to get deliverance. Just like, I just have to let God do it. Like, I'm at a point, like, I have to let God do it all the way. I'm not leaning on nobody else. Like, I want to just get that closeness with God for myself and for my kids' sake, but I made this video just to show you you gotta be strong, because they don't care at what lengths they will go to get you to think, even that little inkling of hope that you could be cordial with them, it's gonna be okay. No, man, it's like having PTSD. Like it really is, and I know I have PTSD for real, seriously, because it's like you can't trust them as far as you could throw them. Like you really cannot, and it's like I gotta raise my child with this person, and I'm serious at this point. I just told him, like, look, if you can't be respectful, if you can't be, you know, stop harassing me, stop bothering me, you're gonna start that crap, like, I'll raise her by myself and I won't worry about you ever. You don't have to ever contact us again. And you just should have saw the look on his, like the look on his face. But I meant it and I mean it. You have to stand your ground with them, and you can't be afraid, because they'll try you. They still gonna try you anyway, so you might as well stand your ground. I just know that this time I have to take precautions to protect me and my children at all costs, if it come to that, and not be afraid. You know what I mean? Because they don't care. They will keep testing boundaries. They will keep, and they don't care about boundaries. I don't care if you make 100 boundaries. They will find a way to test your boundaries, in which he did. And I'm like, okay, I'm not saying another word. You want me to argue? You want me to go back and forth? He kept trying to get me to do that. And I said, it's over. It's nothing more to argue about. We don't have anything to argue about. I know the truth. He says, oh, you talking about the past? Like, to them, they, it's a scripture I read. It's a scripture I read about the immoral woman in Proverbs, and it say she'll eat and drink like nothing happened. Like she will act like she will pretend like, oh, I didn't just destroy a family. I didn't just bring a man down by making him among the unfaithful. It's a lot of people who believe that too. They think they don't have no part in destroying families when they the other woman and stuff like that. They think the Bible don't teach that. The Bible teaches that there is a such thing as a seductress, you seducing spirits. So what are you talking about? So if a man can be a seducer as well. It's not just women either. So let's clear that up. But it talks about a woman who forget the vows of her youth and don't, stay with the ways that she learned from God, from her God. She go to the paths of darkness and unrighteousness, and she lead people to hell. That's what it says. It say hell is where she at. She lead people to hell, and she have brought many kings down and many strong men down to a morsel of bread, to nothing. That's the point of the narcissist. Whether they male or female, if they're a true narcissist, because like I said, there are some spirits that are greater than others. Their assignment is different. Whatever they're able to do is greater. They were more evil than the other ones. And it says she brought a man to a morsel of bread. That's what I mean. They want to bring you to nothing. They want you to dwell in hell. They want to send you to hell by destroying your life. They want to bring you to nothing. And all I can say is, for people who may be still dealing with them, you gotta, for me, I'm not saying everybody to do this, but I look at these pictures and I keep pictures of, when I was abused, and voice messages and text me. I keep it to remind myself of why I can never go back. Why I can never go back. Because he sent flowers. They'll do all of that. They will do all of that. But in the end, it's like a dog returning to, its vomit and licking it up, dealing with a narcissist. It's not going to change, because they have convinced themselves that they have done nothing. They have destroyed lives and tell themselves they eat and drink and be merry like they didn't did nothing wrong. They will not hold themselves accountable. Now, they'll tell you stuff like, oh, I'm sorry. They will say sorry. Some people say narcissists don't say sorry. Yes, they will. They will apologize with the intent to deceive later. They will apologize if they feel like it's going to get them their bottom line. They want attention from you. Your hurt feelings it feeds their ego. They get a kick out of it. And then, I was reading the scripture in Proverbs. That's why I said I was going to read Proverbs probably for a month. Just read it, all 31 chapters. It says some people, they can't sleep if they, they can't go to bed without doing evil to somebody. It says doing evil is sport for a fool. See, to them it's sport. It's fun. It's fun to hurt your feelings. It's fun to cheat on you. It's fun to gaslight you and make you think that everything that you experienced with them was, it ain't that big of a deal. You imagining it in your head. That's the past. So they can continue to torment you and torture you. They don't want nothing good with you. Anything that represents good and happiness and joy and, just positive things in your life, they want to completely ruin it for you in your mind, so that you will ruminate and continue to think about it over and over and over again. I've gotten better with that because in a way, I've kind of detached myself from the situation in a certain way. I'm not fully there, but I've detached myself. And I think that's why the heartbreak is not what it once was. Like, I'm like, okay, whatever, it's over. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm good on you. I don't ever want to be with you. But, the other part is just working through the damage that has been done to my psyche, to my self-esteem, to my hopes for the future, to my dreams and goals and aspirations, and, trying to fight to piece my life back together. One thing I did start doing is, my daughter helped me. We just kind of got the house in order, got everything more, in order. It's a little couple things I want to do today. I might try to cut the grass, backyard, just, and, try to put me a little patio set when I get enough money. Just things like that to try to just restore my surroundings and my, having peaceful surroundings. I got my candles that I ordered and I never got a chance to really use them. And, I set up my fish tank and I got to get fish. I got to regulate the tank first. I got to, get it ready, prepared for fish. Things that I had wanted to do just to try to make my surroundings. I feel like that's a, step in the healing, right direction in the healing process, is making your surroundings in order. I do believe, cleanliness is next to godliness. I think it is something to a peaceful space, an organized space that helps you facilitate the healing process, because that's one less thing you got to stress about, and allows you the ability to be able to rest as you try to really heal. And I think for me, the isolation is definitely needed. I don't care what anybody say. Unless you got a real good, strong support system, you may need some time to yourself. And I said it may take me 2 years. I don't know how long, 3 years. I don't know how long it's going to take me. But until I get to a certain breakthrough level, I just feel like I don't have time to be fooling around with people right now, because people, like I said, I just felt like I was just bleeding out and I was not really truly getting healed from a lot of things. And so, that narcissistic blow, it took the wind, knocked the wind out of me, and now I'm just slowly building myself back up. And that's all I can do. I'm going to take it one day at a time. And I just been, spending as much time with God as I possibly can. And that's all I, would recommend anybody do. Speak positive over yourself. separate the things they think about you, know who you really are, and cast down those ungodly thoughts they said about you.